What's going on, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here, and we've got some new world updates, especially as it regards to PvP. I know this has been a contentious point over on the Reddit. I know this has been a discussion that's been long, been had both positive and negative, and if you guys haven't been caught up to speed, the TLDR New World has gone in a couple of different directions in its development, originally kind of having that open PvP, having since drawn that back in and bringing in more style PvP or more instanced PvP content. This post is going to focus in on their vision and new features along with their goals. So I thought it'd be a great time to kind of dive into this post, give you guys my thoughts on the state of PvP for New World, and as always, I'd love to know your thoughts. Now, if you're already a subscriber here, welcome back, Soul Nation. You're gorgeous. Mwah. Thanks so much for being here. I love you. I love you faces. That's what subscribers get. They get free compliments and flattery in these videos, but let's go ahead and dive in. I have not pre-read this, and just note that I do struggle with reading because I'm dyslexic, so if I butcher any names or any kind of pronunciations, just blast me in the comments below. Feel free to make fun of me to your heart's extent. Just don't be too brutal. Like like a level of it, 90%. Give a little bit of, a wink and a nod here and there. Okay, so PvP, vision, and new features. New World offers both PvP and PvE gameplay, and balancing these two modes is as important as it is to us as many of you. As we work towards the launch and continue to introduce new features and content, we'd like to elaborate our vision for PvP, and if you'd like to jump directly to the release notes, you can find them here, or if you guys want to go check out my last video on New World, top link in the description, you can go nuts, and it's the best video I've ever made. I'm going to start saying that about all my videos. Guys, if you didn't see my last video, it's the best video I ever made. So for the goals, coexist and complement. It's important to us that players choose how they want to play. Our vision for New World is to have PvE and PvP gameplay not only coexist, but complement each other so that players can bounce back and forth between focusing on PvE and PvP. Our goal is for players to receive equal rewards for the same time invested with similar risk. So, while a player will never be required to flag for PvP, we certainly want PvP to have a unique and meaningful role in a tournament. Open world PvP and wars will allow players to lay claim to a tournament through conquest and provide benefits to all players in their faction. In the alpha release update for April, they introduced new features to further support these goals. And let's see here. Yeah, faction control points. So here we go. I was like, if they're not going to cover that, then let me just summarize that for everybody. Since other major PvP activities like wars and outpost reach are scheduled or instanced, we wanted to create PvP hotspots in the open world to help foster and concentrate PvP. So we felt like that forts found in each region were underutilized, and we wanted to give players reasons to adventure into the locations outside of wars, and we've turned each region's fort into a PvP control point that will provide both territory and global rewards for controlling the controlling faction. These faction control points will give players a way to engage in open world PvP that directly benefits their faction. Territory forts will now require players to be PvP flagged to enter them. Forts will have a control point which players will battle to claim. If a faction has more players inside the control point than any other faction, that faction will begin to slowly capture the control point. The more players the faction has inside the control point, the faster they will capture it. The status of each fort will be visible on the world map, so everyone can see which factions have claimed forts and which forts are currently being contested. When rival factions are assaulting a control point, region-wide messages will alert players that the location is being contested. This will draw further attention to the location. Control points will be available to contest immediately upon another company claiming that territory. The only times control points will be inactive will be right before and after a war or an invasion. So war is the scheduled PvP content, and then invasion is the scheduled PvE content. Basically, hey, an invasion's happening, you want to flag for that, you want to kind of queue up for that, or enlist and raise your hand saying, hey, I want to do this. Faction control point rewards are about long-term value and controlling specific locations to earn buffs specific to that location. Control points don't grant immediately rewards, but instead provide faction members with 5% increase to experience gain and 20% increase to influence gain within the territory. Additionally, each fort location has a unique global buff for their faction, such as decreasing specific taxes or decreasing Azoth costs for fast travel. And you can find the full list of rewards in the patch notes. My best video that I've ever made. So anyway, they will be monitoring player reception and activity at each of the control points for data and feedback to help further tune the mechanics and the rewards. So territory ownership is a big part of the New World experience. With the inclusion of territory control incentives, our goal is to entice more players to take part in claiming and protecting territory by making the rewards of settlement ownership more appealing. Benefits of being a part of the faction that owns specific territories include linked storage between settlements owned by the same faction and resource card, and each town that provides small amounts of crafting materials to faction members, in addition to the previously existed benefits of fast travel, gathering volume, luck, and more. These bonuses will be suspended if a territory's taxes are not paid. Again, check out patch notes. To provide an alternative PvP experience to the ongoing war for territory control in open world PvP, we introduced Outpost Rush to the alpha test last month. Whether you prefer the PvP or PvE, Outpost Rush is an endgame 20v20 battle where teams must coordinate and balance their time gathering resources, building up their outposts, capturing objectives, and defeating enemy players. Level 60 players can jump into Outpost Rush solo or as a group of up to 5 players. So, how you participate. Each team will start in their own fort on the opposite side of the map. Between the two forts, you'll find 3 posts, Luna, Sol, and Astra. Each outpost can be captured by standing inside a capture point, and you gain points for holding outposts and killing enemy players. Outposts grant 1 point every 3 seconds, and PvP kills are worth 1 point. The first team to reach 1,000 points wins. While the rules of engagements are straightforward, there are several components to each outpost rush match, and you have multiple ways of securing victory. Gathered infused resources, wood, or hides, Azoth as essence itself to help your team's cause. Resources can reinforce your outpost, so grab any that you can find. And then each outpost has the following structures in place by default, which can be used to control for the controlling team. An armory will allow players to spend battle tokens earned in the match to purchase ammo, potions, and items to help in defense and offense, strong food buffs, essentially. Players can use storage sheds to share infused materials like Azoth with their team, and it's also a great place to store resources so that they don't drop for the enemy team if you fall in battle. Once an outpost has been captured, a team can gather Azoth-infused materials to build and upgrade the following structures. All of these structures can be destroyed by the enemy team, so each team will need to stay vigilant to keep their structures repaired. Gates can be upgraded twice, becoming stronger each time. Protection wards prevent capture of an outpost and provide respawn location for the team that owns the outpost. Different types of siege weapons can be built on the ramparts of each outpost, and a command post will provide your team with increased damage, armor, and a steady stream of battle tokens. This building can be upgraded twice and to a strengthening effect. There are several objectives located around the map. The Baroness Hain spawns every 10 minutes. Teams who deal the killing blow will gain a strong buff that increases the health regeneration and defense for the next 3 minutes. At the same time, the enemy's score will be frozen, preventing them from gaining any points for 3 minutes. I wonder how long these matches are going to be, but the thing that I have an issue here is I guess the team that deals the killing blow means that you could go, depending on the amount of life, like if it's not supposed to die fast, like imagine just kind of running up, getting the last shot in, and then you get the buff and the other team has worked so hard to get the kill. I don't know. I'd like to know what you guys think about that. Is that balanced? Is that fair? Because again, if it's a percentage of damage, then you never catch up. So it would be something where you run up on it and you're like, well, I'm not going to bother because whoever gets most likely gets the head start is going to do the most damage. So I guess that's kind of the fairness of it, the randomness of it in a way. Corrupted, I guess that would also where essentially that's happening and you see somebody from the enemy team coming up, you'd want to have your team split off to make sure that they're not actually being able to hit the target, especially if the battle is getting low. The Corrupted Portal is a portal guarded by corrupted creatures. Teams can deposit Azoth essence into the portal, and when a single team is committed 500 Azoth essences, it activates, and the player that made the final deposit is granted an item to summon a powerful ally. Cool. Summoning circles are stones and platforms found in various key locations around the map. Where there, any 2 players who have acquired a summoning item can summon a monstrous ally, and that will defend the location of enemy players. I like that. And then turn in placements are defenses that can be found at each fort in the Astra and Luma outposts. We understand the importance of meaningful PvP and rewarding PvP for our players who love that gameplay, and we're going to continue to collect data and feedback on existing PvP features and content from our alpha testers We will also have plans to grow the PvP offerings in our post-launch roadmap, and after all, launch is just the beginning. As development continues, you can follow Play New World on Twitter to stay tuned for more updates. So guys, what do you guys think about the PvP changes, their vision for PvP, and more? I know that there's definitely, and I've even seen it on Reddit recently, really focusing in on, I guess I can switch camera because if we're going to kind of talk for a second, really focusing in on how PvP... how PvP has changed with its release. And there was people who were backing the project, excited about the project, felt like they had the rug pulled out from under them. And then at the same time, with the change to PvE, we've seen a lot more interest in the game, a lot more people excited about the game. When I told people originally, like, hey, it's an open PvP, they're like, no, we're good. And so at the end of the day, like, oh, man, it's such a hard line in the sand because like the gamer in me is like, I would love to see that. But then the data analyst in me says like, yeah, that like we think that's fun, but it ultimately ends up just being fun for a few and then everybody else runs scared. Not that they couldn't have systems in place to kind of help mitigate that, where essentially like in it, for example, if you get killed, okay, you die, and then you come back. Then the next time, like you can't get, it's harder for you to get killed to a point where like if you get killed enough, they'll never be able to kill you again. Like essentially kind of a diminishing returns on trying to gank or just kind of grief a specific player or group. And then that could easily scale based off a level. Oh, you're level 60 and you're level 1? Well, we're going to have some ward of protection by the island, or you can make some kind of lore up estimate in that regards. But those are my thoughts. That's the information, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike button. But regardless, whatever you do, hit subscribe. I double dog dare you to do that and check out more content here on Ginger Prime. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. But until then, take care. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.